If you are looking for a relatively affordable carbon-plated racer, the 361 Degrees Flame RS could be what you're looking for. This is my review. Let's get into it. Full disclosure before we get started, 361 Degrees was good enough to send me the Flame RS and the Flame ST for the purpose of review. However, they are not going to get a chance to see my review before you do here on YouTube, and just to be clear, they are not paying me to make this video. Now, I have already posted the review of the Flame ST, so if you are interested in the training version of the Flame RS, you can go back and check that out, and I'll be making some comparisons between the Flame ST and the Flame RS in this video. Alright, I said it's relatively affordable. The Flame RS will cost you $180. Now, I know that is still a lot of money, but guys, this does have a full-length carbon fiber plate. It is a very snappy shoe, so I think $180 is relatively affordable, and it's right in line with other shoes on the market, if not a better value, depending on what your ride preference is. But we'll get into the ride of the shoe in a second. The Flame RS does have 32 in the heel, 24 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop. I can't complain about that. In fact, if every shoe was an 8mm drop, personally, I'd be pretty happy, especially when it comes to race shoes. Now, as far as weight goes, 361 Degrees does list this shoe as weighing 7.3 ounces, which is about 206 grams on their website. However, they don't give a size for that weight, but I think we can assume it's a US men's size 9. That's generally the size that they post on the site. However, in my size, a US men's size 12, it tips the scale at 9.5 ounces or 268 grams. So let's be honest, it's a fairly light shoe. Definitely not the lightest, but definitely light enough to be a race day shoe. And just for comparison, the Flame ST in my size weighs 277 grams. So the race version is just 9 grams lighter than the training version. And if you haven't seen my Flame ST video, the Flame ST will cost you $160, so $20 less than the race version, the Flame RS. Now, I did say in my size, a US men's size 12, it weighs 268 grams, and that brings me to sizing. The Flame RS and the Flame ST do not fit true to size. Now, in 361 Degrees defense, they already recognize this on the website. When you go to the shoes, it does say to order a half size down. However, as I usually wear a US men's size 13 and I went to a 12, I did size down a full size, and I found the US men's size 12 to actually fit me very well. This is definitely my size in this shoe. And if you do buy it from the 361 Degrees website, they do offer free returns. So if, in a twist of bad luck, you order the wrong size, you can always send them back and get the right size. Let's start at the top. Let's work our way down. We'll start off with the heel collar. You can see it is very thin around the heel collar. Then we have a bolster just below the top of the heel collar, and it wraps all the way around the back, providing a nice hug sensation around the back of the heel collar, and it feels pretty good. I had no issues with the heel collar and how the heel collar grips the back of my heel on the Flame RS. It's a very nice feeling. It feels very much locked in. The heel counter, as you can see, is fairly rigid, which I think is very important in a race shoe. These heel counters that are very minimal, sometimes they can slip around a little more than the heel counters that are a little firmer, and this is actually quite rigid. And the heel counter doesn't come too far forward. I think I can feel the end of it right here, but either way, it's enough to get that good heel lockdown. 361 Degrees is using a lightweight mono mesh upper. It is fairly breathable. You can see there are lots of holes in it, and actually when I hold it up, I can see the inside of the shoe through the hole, so it's fairly light. It's going to be nice if you're using it and you're running in hot areas. There aren't too many overlays. Some overlays right around the heel counter, of course the logo, the 3 along the eyelet chain, just to give that a little bit of support when you're cinching down those laces, and then we have an underlay just around the toe box just to keep that upper off your toes. Now, I found the fit of the 361 RS and ST to be just about spot on. I don't want to say they're narrow, and I don't want to say it's too roomy. I generally have narrow feet, and this shoe fit me very well. I know looking at it, it doesn't seem overly wide, so I'd be interested to hear from you if you have run in 361 Degree shoes, especially the Flame, how you have found the fit in the toe box. For me and my feet, fits nice. I didn't experience any hot spots at all during my testing period. For the midsole, 361 Degrees is using their updated Quick Flame midsole foam. It's a PIBA nylon elastomer, and if you look closely at it, especially at the bottom, you can see the little beads that are stuck together just like Power Run PB. However, the Quick Flame formulation is quite firm. So for me at least, it doesn't ride like a typical PIBA foam shoe. Now hold on, let's just back it up just a second. We're going to come back up to the laces. 361 Degrees has updated their More Fit lacing system, and that's just what they call how the laces work and how they lock down across the midfoot. And then we have an anatomical pressure-free tongue. It is definitely a race tongue. It's certainly very thin. It is not gusseted. We have one lace loop right here in the middle, and then as the tongue comes down towards the toes, it does open up, and it's a very open mesh just to get a lot of airflow coming into the top of your foot. Now again, with the fit, just like the heel, giving me a good lockdown, and just like the forefoot, giving me plenty of room and not too tight where my toes felt constricted. I did get a lovely midfoot lockdown with these laces, and I didn't experience experience any tongue migration when I lock the shoes down. The laces are pretty nice. There's no stretch to them, but they are definitely long enough and they do the job. Now let's come back down to the midsole. We're still talking about this quick flame foam, and sandwiched in between the two layers of quick flame foam is 361 degrees full-length carbon fiber plate, which they call QuickBone. The marketing people clearly didn't contact me first about the name QuickBone. Personally, I probably would have advised against it, but QuickBone it is, and that is the name of their carbon fiber plate. We can see in the window on the bottom, and it says QuickBone. So yeah, write your QuickBone jokes in the comments below. Now that we're on the outsole, 361 degrees is using an RPU rubber outsole. We can see we've got plenty of coverage, lots of grip. I have run with this shoe in the wet, which I don't get to in a lot of cases, but I have run with the Flame RS in the wet, and the grip was phenomenal. I was trying to scuff my feet, I was trying to slide a little, but the shoe had me stuck to the ground nicely. Obviously we got this little window, this cutout just to save a little weight in the quick flame foam, and then we have two strategically placed pieces of rubber on the back for us heel strikers. I am one of those heel strikers, so I appreciate having this bit of rubber on the back. Now at the filming of this video, I have run about 40 miles in the Flame RS, and the rubber looks untouched actually. Now on the very outside edge of the lateral heel, I am seeing a little bit of scuffing on the quick flame midsole, but that is exactly where I touch down when I'm not running super fast, so that is absolutely to be expected. But I'm actually quite surprised that this rubber is showing no wear, and definitely on the forefoot I am not seeing any rubber rubbed away. So if I hold it right up, you can see there are little triangles that are almost like little lugs on the bottom of the shoe, and on those little triangles there are very small horizontal lines, and those small lines on the tiny lugs have not worn away at all, which, now I'm thinking about it, is probably the biggest selling point to this shoe. So for $180, not only are you getting a shoe that does have a carbon fiber plate that is quite snappy, it's not like some of these other shoes that we buy and we spend a lot of money on, and then you race in them a few times, and if you train in them a few times, their life is very short. They just don't have the longevity of a training shoe, right? And we know this. We've come to expect it, that a training shoe is going to last a long time, a racing shoe is not going to last as long. I think 361 degrees have found a good middle ground with the Flame RS and the Flame ST for that matter, with the amount of rubber they've got on the bottom and whatever rubber formulation they're using, because this shoe is very durable. Now let's talk about ride. Now I know us shoe geeks, we love getting into all the materials and what the shoe is made of, but the ride is what it's all about. And for me personally, look, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I tend to favor the cushy ride, and even when I'm running a marathon, I do favor the more squishy shoes. Even though I did run the Boston Marathon in the Endorphin Elite, which is not as squishy as some of those other ones, the 361 degrees Flame RS definitely provides a firm ride. And so because of how firm this ride is, it is very unlikely that I will use this shoe for the marathon distance. But that doesn't really take anything away from the Flame RS, because in this time of specificity, we have a different shoe for every different distance. And I would say anything from a half marathon on down, so a 10K, a 5K, the Flame RS is going to work incredibly well. This shoe just feels light and snappy and has good road feel. You feel like you're in control of your effort when you're running in this shoe. Also, because of the price, $180, and how durable this shoe is, I think it's going to be a good option for you to train in and race in. Now that we've got to this point in the video, if I were you, I would be thinking, Matt, which shoe should I choose if I'm going to buy one of them? We've got the Flame ST, which is the training version, and the Flame RS, which is the racing version. I've put a fair bit of volume in both of these shoes. Now remember, the Flame RS is only a $20 premium over the Flame ST. I don't think a $20 premium is that much. When you consider in the Flame RS, you are getting a carbon fiber plate compared with a glass fiber plate in the Flame ST. Now, as far as ride goes, the Flame RS is quite a bit snappier than the Flame ST. When I put this on, I can really feel that there's a carbon fiber plate propelling me along compared to the Flame ST. Now the Flame ST, it is a very poppy shoe. It's a fast shoe, just not as poppy as the Flame RS. So if I were you and I had to choose one of them, personally, I don't think you need both. I think you are choosing one or the other. I would really go with the Flame RS. I think that $20 is worth it for that extra feeling of pop, especially if you're going to be using this for your faster workouts and your races. Of course, if you're looking to save just a little bit of money, I think the Flame ST is going to be a fantastic option for you. This is no slouch. This is going to get you moving in the right direction and very quickly. And as far as the ride goes, I know I already said that the RS was just a little bit snappier than the ST, but the RS to me feels just a little bit firmer than the ST. ST. For me, the ST could almost be used as a daily trainer, a fast daily trainer, but when I take it out for easy runs, it actually felt pretty good on my feet. Whereas the RS, it's definitely firm, but it definitely gives me those race day vibes more than the Flame ST does. So with that, I'd love to know what you think. Have you ever run in a 361 degree shoe? Have you thought about running in the Flame, either the RS or the ST? If you have any questions about either of these shoes, go ahead and drop them in the comments and I will answer them as best as I can. And for now, my name is Matt and this has been my review of the 361 degrees Flame RS 361 degrees newest racing shoe. Be kind, be happy, run well. I'll see you in a couple of days.